I don't believe that this is necessarily it.
Oh.
I think I got the same take as you. If he goes out and plays great and they win a playoff game or whatever, I certainly think he would want to come back. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, was it 4 years ago now, 5 years ago, however long, that he was 90% sure he was retired? Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Before he went to the Jets? That seems like ancient history. Now, I don't think he's going to have a great season. I don't think they're going to win a playoff game or even make the playoffs. So I do think this will be his last season. I think it's going to be a rough year for them. I think they're going to finish under 500 for the first time since 2003. He's going to be a little worse than last year, and he's going to be ready for this thing to end. And so that's how I think it ends up. Look, he was 8-10-1 in his last 2 years in Green Bay with Mike McCarthy. Why? And that's when he still had MVP ability. Because once McCarthy was gone, he flexed the MVP ability and won 2 of them. So he still was a great player, but wasn't winning with the Packers and McCarthy. Why am I going to think this is going to be different? He's older. He's not as good. No, it's going to be his last year because it's going to be a rough season.
I believe Aaron Rodgers thinks this will be his last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Whether they win a playoff game or not, I think he's like, you know what? I did it. If I win a playoff game, I get to ride off in the sunset and say, I did it. Everyone applaud, and it was an unbelievable career. And then the season will start up, and somebody will get hurt, and it will be the Phillip Rivers story. But instead of Phillip Rivers, it will be Aaron Rodgers, and hasn't been out of the league for 4 years coaching high school football. Be like, what about Aaron Rodgers? And if you can get a hold of him, there is spotty service in Southern California. But if you can get a hold of him on FaceTime, I think that he would entertain a comeback, just like Brady entertained a comeback and Favre entertained a comeback and Phillip Rivers entertained a comeback.
This is that, though.
Fair.
This is that?
This is that.
We're already there?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't think he knew? I feel like he knew all along he was coming back.
No, but he's going to be 43 during this season. I don't now Brady is the exception. Brady played to 46 and then flirted with coming back, it seems, at 48. But he is the exception. So I think also I am very pessimistic about how he's going to look at the end of this season.
Oh.
And so I disagree with you guys there, which is I am taking this at face value, which can be dangerous with Aaron. He's a 4-time league MVP who has a maybe untouchable record on touchdown interception ratio, a potentially touchable but current record for all-time passer rating. You can certainly make the argument he's the most talented passer of all time. He's already probably has the best super old guy quarterback other than Tom Brady because there just weren't any playing this age. And yet there are so many forks in the roads, what ifs about his career that make it one of the most fascinating careers to me. Starting with the day he's drafted. What if San Francisco just takes him and not Alex Smith, and he does not sit for 3 years, and he just gets to hit the ground running, and is in a bigger market with maybe a little more scrutiny? Does that actually work better for him?
Or worse.
Worse, either way, right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know which way it would have gone. What if he didn't, so shortly after becoming the starter, win a Super Bowl and then go 15-1, win league MVP? Would what turned into some of his bad kind of what I would consider self-focused leadership habits, would those have been different? What if Green Bay just never drafted Jordan Love? And as Danny always talks about, just drafted T. Higgins and he'd stayed there. Obviously, what if he never tore his Achilles? All of those things there had to be a very specific set of circumstances for a player to be as brilliant for as long as Aaron was, yet play. He had 10 brilliant years, but is going to play 20.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's be honest, the single biggest criticism that people constantly level against Aaron Rodgers is his lack of multiple Super Bowl victories, along with all the related commentary. And again, when Bruce brings up his final season or whatever with the Green Bay Packers as if that holds any relevance right now, given the team he has in Pittsburgh, using that as a reference point is just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Or not even his final season in Green Bay, but his final season with Mike McCarthy, right? That relationship had simply run its course and was severed. That's just the way things go sometimes. It doesn't mean the exact same situation will immediately repeat itself. The whole notion that Aaron could retire but then come back for another game or two, similar to Phillip Rivers, ever since Phillip Rivers did that, it will always be on the table for every quarterback who ever retires. That option will always feel available, whether it's Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or anyone else. That possibility will always exist, especially if that team can be competitive and even make the playoffs, and so on. So make no mistake about it. The Eagles famously flirted with that idea when Carson Wentz went down. Lucky for them, they didn't pull the trigger and stuck with Nick Foles instead. But that's just how it goes, that possibility will always be there. So we can't frame every single retirement conversation about a quarterback through that lens. Because then we'll have to do it every single time, and that becomes exhausting. Before I go any further, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, please do not forget to subscribe and watch the full length of this video. When you do that, view counts go through the roof. Subscriber numbers go through the roof. And it's not about chasing views. It's not about hunting for subscribers. It's about being able to create Pittsburgh Steelers content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss, so we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, authentic discussions about the Pittsburgh Steelers. It really makes a massive difference. So please do consider doing that. But yeah, I don't understand why everyone is so confident that he's just going to be terrible and that he'll be worse this year. I actually think he's going to be better this year, and I think the Steelers are going to be better this year. They have a stronger team this year than they did last year, and I believe they have better offensive coaching this year than they had last year. And if Aaron Rodgers truly feels like this is his final season, he is going to bring everything he has, be completely focused, and put it all on the line in a way that he maybe was unwilling to do as much last year. So I think every aspect of this offense, at the very least, is going to be better this season. Every single aspect. Better offensive line play, better running game, better receiving core, better quarterback play, better play calling, better game plans, better coaching. I think it's just going to be improved across the board. Across the entire board. That is going to leave the door wide open for legitimate, genuine success. I don't see how it couldn't. We saw what levels of success they achieved last year. So the downplaying of all of that doesn't really make any sense. If we want to play the whole what-if game right now regarding Aaron Rodgers' career, yes, he was never supported in the way some of these other quarterbacks have been. He was never supported in the way we've seen Tom Brady get supported, or Patrick Mahomes, or Jalen Hurts. He simply was not. And yes, you know what? Drafting a quarterback and then having him sit for multiple years while your current quarterback is in his absolute prime was a mistake. Well, we got the quarterback of the future. What has that done for the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love right now? What has that accomplished for them so far? Anything? It hasn't. They haven't even reached an NFC championship game yet. And I love Jordan Love, don't get me wrong. He's a major talent. He's awesome. I love watching him play. I'm glad he's with Green Bay. But that doesn't make it the right move. It doesn't make it the correct decision. And so, yes. And listen, are some of the failures on Aaron Rodgers? For sure. Could he have been more coachable and so on? Absolutely. But Aaron Rodgers has simply not received the level of support that we've seen others get. I mean, again, Peyton Manning gets credit for having 2 Super Bowl wins, and yet that final Super Bowl was absolutely, positively brutal. There is an absolute world where Peyton Manning ends up with only 1 Super Bowl victory. And yet, people don't hold that against him the way they do against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Nick, I'm not going to show the clip, but JCT sent me that clip and I made a video about it a couple of years ago. Nick went on an entire rant, this was pre-Mahomes, by the way, about how Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady. He said Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom. Yes, Tom Brady has all the rings, but Aaron Rodgers is the superior quarterback. And then Nick has completely thrown that logic out the window when talking about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. That's a different conversation entirely. It's a different discussion. And so, because of the way Aaron Rodgers' personality comes across, some of the things he says and does and all of that, people don't want to give him any kind of benefit of the doubt or any type of grace. And I think that's wrong. Aaron Rodgers is clearly elite, an all-time great, special, this, that, and the other. But the whole what-ifs and all that kind of stuff, it's just that he never got to find that perfect home with, say, a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan. And he never even forced his way out. Everyone said, oh, he's so quirky, this and that. But he was with Green Bay for essentially his entire career. I understand he kind of found himself in New York and so on, but 95% of his career was in Green Bay. That's not what Matthew Stafford did. That's not what Joe Burrow keeps flirting with. That's not what Peyton Manning did. But it is what Aaron Rodgers did. And then he had to endure Matt LaFleur. And again, I'll ask you this once more, I really like Matt LaFleur. I like him a lot. But what has he and Jordan Love accomplished together? What have they done? Oh wait. Have they ever won the division? No, I don't believe they've won the division yet. Have they won multiple playoff games? No. I'm pretty sure Jordan Love with Matt LaFleur has won exactly one playoff game, right? The wild card round against the Dallas Cowboys. That's it. 2023, then 2024, beaten by the Eagles. 2025, beaten by the Bears. And that's now a quarterback who has technically been in the NFL for 6 years or so by now. So, Aaron Rodgers does deserve a tremendous benefit of the doubt. He really does. He really, really, really does. The Packers did not do enough to support him. The defenses weren't good enough. And when the offenses were there, they never were able to really double down or triple down and do things like, let's go beast mode offensively. Like, let's go get a T. Higgins. Let's get a monster running back. Like, we have Aaron, let's make sure this guy can cook. Or, we have Aaron, let's give him an elite defense. I forget the exact stat, but the one year he had a top 10 defense the year he won the Super Bowl. Outside of that, never. And it's just, that matters. Especially remember that Aaron Rodgers played for the bulk of his career during an era where defenses had way more control over a game. The rules were different. Again, I'm not going to show you the clip, but Tom Brady himself has talked about this, that football was just played fundamentally differently because of the rules and because of what defenses were allowed to do. And this ties into one of Colin Cowherd's greatest takes I've ever heard. He said Bill Belichick was at his best when the NFL rules really favored defenses, and Andy Reid was at more of a disadvantage back then. Then, as soon as the rules flipped and allowed offensive coaches to hold more power and shine, Bill Belichick's influence got marginalized, and Andy Reid got to really show just how special he could be. And I think that's a spot-on take. It's absolutely spot-on. And that is something Aaron Rodgers has unfortunately not fully benefited from, simply because of the longevity of his career, where he was at various stages of his prime, and which teams he was with at any given moment. So yes, I think we will always misremember who Aaron Rodgers is and was, because of how his entire career has unfolded, as well as the general perception around him as a person, let alone our perception of him as a quarterback. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about Aaron Rodgers? RS and the Pittsburgh Steelers? How do you feel about this? What about the idea of this being his final season? Do you think this is it, or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some debates. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you be part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.